What's up, everybody? This is Andrew with AM Projects, and this is my DIY concrete slab. I am working towards putting an overhang over it and closing in this area to the left, and it'll be my wood shop. I am putting this completed video of the slab first so that whenever you see the chaos and the terrible choices that I made along the way, that you know that it came out all right. But if you are a concrete guy, a masonry guy, I don't know if you can watch this because I do some things I'm not proud of. I end up walking on the slab right after it was poured and just cleaning things up in an unconventional way. But if I can do it, you can do it. Just stay hydrated. So here's the before shot. This is early on a Sunday morning, and I woke up about 5:30 like I usually do, come outside, and had zero intention of doing any of this. Started looking around, and one thing led to another. I'm digging up the ground. And a little bit of a backstory on this. The reason I'm doing this is because I was doing a bathroom renovation, and when I pulled out the tub, they already had a hole in the slab where they had done a renovation before, and the plumbing was exposed, and that hole was filling up with water. I think indirectly, but water was sitting up against the slab of this house underneath the deck a good 3 or 4 inches. And I knew since we moved in 6 months ago that I needed to take this deck off and fix that water issue, because you really don't want that sitting up against the slab of your house. So next thing you know, this is the next weekend, and this is Friday afternoon, and Friday morning I didn't even plan on getting an excavator. So this goes to show you how I do things at my house. And mind you, my bathroom is completely torn apart right now. I haven't done anything else to it since I did the demo, and now I am working on this huge outdoor project. So that'll give you a little insight into how I do things sporadically. I remember thinking whenever I was doing this part that I better save my back as much as I can. So use the excavator to move these things around instead of going down there and just quickly scooping them up with my hands. And I was right, because by the end of this, I was dying. So the first mistake I made doing this was that I did not dig down deep enough into this soil. I just scraped the top 3 or 4 inches, and it really seemed like it was dry enough, but it wasn't in one particular spot, and there was another smaller spot that I didn't fix that could have been fixed, but I did have to settle for a little bit of manual labor, which using this excavator to load the wheelbarrow was still a lifesaver. Of course, there was a 4-inch clean out right behind my house, and I was trying not to run it over. And as soon as I started going forward, smoothing out the dirt, the first time I ran it over and broke it. So I decided to not have a clean out right there. I'm going to put it farther down and actually make a sink in the shop that I'm building, and the sink will double as a clean out. But this should show you that I also suck at plumbing. I didn't cut it the right length, and in my mind I was like, okay, I'm gonna slip 2 collars on the ends, and once it gets down there I'm gonna pull both of them outward to get it to seal. And by the time I cut the other piece, both collars had glued themselves to this one piece, so I had to just move it to one side. And now I slipped another collar on, so now I have 3 collars on this thing. Finally getting, I think I went to Lowe's 3 times. It took half a day to splice that 4-inch piece of PVC. Like, that's how these projects go for me. Nothing is just easy. So this is a 3-day weekend for me on Labor Day, and this is Sunday. So I pretty much have it done in 2 days, and I'm putting some crushed concrete on the top. It really helps it pack down. But at the end of this, I realize on the other side, the far side, that it's super spongy. Like, even when you walk on it with your feet, it's just super spongy. And so I left it overnight, and the next day whenever I came back, I did all kinds of research, and I was like, I just can't leave it like this. So on the Monday, I said, well, there's really nothing else to do but to dig down deeper. So I tried to save as much of the compacted dirt and crushed concrete as I could, scrape some off the top, but it just sucked. Literally, I was cursing myself right now for not doing enough prep and just doing it without thinking, really. I don't know. But it had to be done. It just had to be done. I could not use the soil as spongy as it was. So this is what I did on the 3rd day of the 3-day weekend. And this is actually on Tuesday. I should be going to work, but I only had this excavator. I was trying to get it returned, so now I had to use it for another half a day. And I'm going to get dirt. I'm dumping it, trying to get this done. I do get it smoothed out just in time. And by the end of whenever I got this smoothed out, it was hard as a rock. So it was definitely worth it. But this goes to show you how my projects go. This is exactly how they go. Nothing is as it is planned. And then I do something and I have to redo it multiple times. And I'm definitely glad I went back and just bit the bullet and tore it apart and repacked it, because it was worth it. So now we are ready to frame it out. Another mistake I made was not putting a string or anything on the grade. I just eyeballed it. and I measured by the slab of the house, and it was 5 inches, and that's a fairly decent slab. Most of these slabs for a little patio like this would be 4 inches. So I was like, that's plenty. But after I repacked it, I didn't really make sure that I was on the right grade or had enough, clearance in the right spots. So I looked up on the internet what grade, a patio is supposed to be. And I kid you not, Wikipedia and other things say, I think it was a 2% grade, but whatever it is, it comes out to 1/4 of an inch a foot. So this patio is 11 feet, and so that means total is 2.5 inches about. So that's what I did. I measured 2.5 inches, and at this point I get to the end and I'm like, this is way too much of a grade. Like, it's literally way too much. And at this point I'm realizing it, and I had like an inch of clearance right at the end. So I knew the next day, and this is after work, like this is a Thursday night. We're supposed to pour on Saturday morning. If you haven't seen my table saw outfeed table video, check it out. This is it at work in its natural habitat being used. So I ripped a couple of boards that were 1.5 inches, and I screwed them on top of my existing frame instead of starting over, which raised it to a great level. But I still realized that some of the dirt has to come off so that I would have enough clearance on the edge. Honestly, when I think to myself about framing out concrete, it really seems very simple and very quick. It seems like a job that I could do in 2 hours, and I was wrong about that also. I seem to always think that I could knock it out very quickly. Oh, it's just a straight line, measure, cut, screw it in, and that's it. But I was wrong. So here we are. I think it's like 9 o'clock. We're supposed to pour at 6 a.m. the next day. This is after a full week of work. Just trying to get it done. I didn't want to do this, but I knew there was a whole big spot all the way down on that side that would only be about 3 inches thick, and I wanted more than that. And look, I'm sorry for this. I don't want y'all to have to see all this skin, but it is what it is. This is me in real life. So I put a piece of rebar on the inside too. And here we go. This is the day of the pour, the first pour. And at this moment, I decided to not make an entrance because I said, well, it's only 11 feet wide, so I can just scrape the concrete across. Like it didn't seem that far. And at this very moment, I'm realizing, holy crap, this is a lot of work. A lot of work. So we get started, And the thing about concrete is you can't stop. Once it starts falling, all the issues you're having, whatever it is, you just have to keep going and keep going quickly, especially when you don't have a big crew. I mean, I got one buddy on the buggy, I got Jason on the float, who he's never done this before, and I got my two boys helping, but you know, they're still young, kinda. So one of the issues I kept having, I'm not a concrete guy, so I really don't know what the deal was, but the concrete felt like it was curing up really fast. So I had the buggy right here wait so that I could spread some more out, and it literally was setting up in the buggy. I don't know how normal that is, but spreading this around it seemed like it was way too dry. You couldn't push it around. You literally had to shovel it like dirt. But what are you gonna do? Like, send the truck back halfway full? I don't know. I have no idea. This is where I was like, I should have at least had one guy with me. He didn't even have to do any work. But if he knew what concrete was supposed to look like, what it was supposed to, you know, I've done concrete work, and obviously, like, I think that this wasn't exactly how it should have been. But in the moment, what do you do? I was exhausted. It's hot, the sun's coming up, so it's curing faster and faster. At this point, the buggy's in the back over there because he still had like a yard. So I go over there in the back, I frame up just quick, you know, barely scrape the ground.
Finish product.
There I am pouring it in the back. I barely scraped the ground, framed it up, and poured it. So I'm in the back over there, and everything's curing up over here. There's still lines everywhere. I didn't get to the corners. And it just all happened so fast, which ended up resulting in this. I was like, I know I'm not supposed to walk on it, but at this point, I've got lines everywhere. I might as well walk on it right now while it's still like in the very first part of curing, and get and basically broom the heck out of this thing to get all these lines off, which worked pretty well. The bull float pushed a bunch up against the concrete of the house, which ended up looking bad, but I chiseled that away. Oh, a little concrete update. That was a terrible idea. My feet keep cramping. That was so hard. My whole body hurts. Oh. And the edges look like shit. That's what my hands look like right now. Let's go take a look. That all looks like shit. Right there. Not sure what I'm gonna do about that. These edges I'm gonna end up putting some plants right there, some brick. This was an absolute disaster. So I think I'm gonna end up putting some more concrete on top of it. So this actually worked pretty well. Again, this is not the conventional way of doing it. And I knew going into this project that I would get through it in unconventional ways. And I've noticed that about me, like any project that I get into, I can make it look decent enough. And I'll show you another shot of the the main slab at the end, but it really was not bad. You can see imperfections whenever it gets wet, but honestly, I'm really happy with it. And I ended up putting the grass right up to the top of it after kind of leveling out the lawn. But so as I'm doing this, I realize for sure that I suck at concrete work because I'm trying to smooth it out. It looks like shit. I got PTSD from doing the other slab and it drying too fast. So I just get it somewhat smoothed out on top of the catastrophe underneath and basically broom until I'm happy, and that's it. And honestly, I think it worked pretty well. I don't know what negative outcomes that would have other than just a crappy way of doing things, but I got through it. This is the worst part of the honeycomb. It was right at the end. I was exhausted. We were all exhausted. The concrete was setting up, and so it looks pretty bad, but I reached my hand underneath that really bad part, and the slab is fine, I feel like. So it just kind of dried up right there at the end whenever we were trying to finish in a pretty bad way. And also, look, I'm doing this by hand because I don't have faith in the trowel upside down. I think I had started using it and it was just all that stuff was slipping off into the water. So I figured I could push it into the honeycombs much better with my hands. And again, I'm not exactly sure if this is how people do it, but after I use this little broom to smooth it out, it really looked really good, I think. So I put some sand down because when that dirt gets wet, it was just mush. And then I got this sod half price, so it was pretty cheap. I got half a pallet for like $80 because the lady had it sitting out for 5 days or something. So I did 3 rows and then letting the grass grow back. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm definitely happy that me and the boys got the experience and the time together, and I saved about $4,500 doing it myself. So take it from me, learn my lessons. And one of the biggest secrets I can tell you is to trick yourself into thinking that you can do it. And at the end of the day, it got done. And it's now something that we'll remember forever, and the boys will remember it. And I am happy with the outcome. I really am. I did not think that it would come out this well whenever we were halfway through it, but it did. Thanks for watching another video of mine. Appreciate all the support. And if you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.